Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I just finished my run. I'm out here. It's a beautiful day in San Diego. I'm extending my run a little bit. I'll give you a little bit of a picture of the view I have here at Pacific Beach. It's a bit windy, but definitely a nice day today. I'm going to try to move away a little bit from the wind. I want to talk about a concept that I've been thinking about lately. Basically, this idea that when you're born with a mortgaged life. You're born into slavery. You're born into debt. I did this video a long time ago. It's kind of embarrassing about slavery and that you're a slave. And this is sort of a deeper realization of that, really, to the next level. So the idea is this: it's basically like, as soon as you're born, as soon as you enter the world, you've got an upkeep, right? It costs you something in order to live. You can't be, you need a place to live, you need food to eat, you got an upkeep cost, essentially. Your life is a mortgage. It doesn't belong to you, because we don't live in you have no ownership of anything, right? We don't live in a world right now where you could just go and just take some land and kill some animals and pick some fruit from some tree, right? Everything is owned by someone else. So you basically are in debt, a slave to the world, to people who own, to be the possessors of the world at that moment in time, right? And so you've essentially got to pay that debt somehow, right? I think it's a powerful concept, a good way to think about just life and and the situation that you're in, right? And it starts out that way. So I was thinking about just in terms of like advice to give to young people, like, what should you do with your life? We talked about a buddy of mine. I'll probably do a video with him. He's doing some real estate investment. We talked about this idea of the fact that, like, when you reach a certain point, when you have enough money, with real estate, you reach that point and you could do whatever you want. You've been watching me. I reached that point like a while ago and sort of had, I won't call it a midlife crisis, but sort of an existential crisis of what now? What am I going to do now? When you reach that point, you've got to figure out what next, right? And a lot of people wait that long. They wait too long to get there, to actually have the option to own your life back, right? So that's the thing. It's like, when I reached that point, I owned my life back because I could do whatever I wanted to do with my time. I wasn't confined to working a 9-to-5 job if I didn't want to. I had income coming in where I could pay for a place to live, for food to eat, for basic clothes, entertainment, all that stuff was taken care of. So what do, right? And that's a separate question. I'm not going to answer that question here, but the reason why I'm bringing that up is because what if you could get to that point earlier in your life, which is basically where you've paid off the mortgage on your life, right? When you're born, you have this mortgage. I don't know how much it costs. It depends on where you live. It depends on where you want to go, right? But let's say that it's $2,000 a month, because I think that's about fair, right? A fair assessment. So starting out, instead of like doing what most people do and going to school, going to college, getting that job, what if you went, and I did a video on this, like on like advice I'd give, how to start a business, how to go to Thailand and become an entrepreneur. But basically, what if you went somewhere where it was cheap to live and you built your business from the get-go, right? Right after you got out of high school or whatever it is, before you got to college, or you didn't even go to college, you just started building a business? What if you found the cheapest way to live, the minimum amount that you could work for someone else in your life, and you immediately work towards getting to a point where you're generating, let's say, $2,000 a month. Let's say that's the magic number. So you work towards that point, and when you get there, maybe it takes you like a year or two. Now you've unmortgaged your life. Now you have total freedom. Now you could go to college if you want. You could go work for someone else if you want. You could continue with your business or build a different business. Or you could do nothing, right? You could just live and enjoy life and meditate, I don't know, work out, whatever it is, right? You can do whatever you wanted because you own your life back. So many people never get to the point where they own their life back. They're hoping that someday when they reach like 65 or whatever, they'll quote retire and they'll sort of own their life back. They can, sit around and tell stories of the nursing home or whatever. It is not that age that you know what I mean though. I'm being a little facetious there. But anyway, just something to think about. Just that idea that, your life is mortgaged. What can you do to unmortgage it as soon as possible? And then you actually own your life. Because, I really want to convey this point that you don't by default own your life, right? We do not live in a world today where you own your life automatically. You have a mortgage to pay. It is not yours. You have to work for someone else. You have to do something. You do not have the ability to get resources on your own until you've paid that off, until you get to the point where you have the income coming in that will allow you to essentially do that. So I'm rambling a little bit. My thoughts are a little bit, whatever today, but I think you get the point. I think it's an important point to understand and to get. And I started to realize that a lot of the advice that I give, especially to the younger, you high school and kind of college level or young starting out, is based on this kind of idea that I want you to be able to unmortgage your life, get to the point where you own your options and your choices, and that's not easy to do, right? Or it's easier than you think it is, right? But you got to be aware of the situation. If you're not aware of it, you're not going to be able to make a change. You're not going to be able to do that thing. And it's so powerful. It's not what everyone tells you to do, right? Everyone tells you to go and get a job and get your 401k and go to school, which you could do all that, but don't do it out of compulsion. Don't do it because it's the only way to go. Don't do it because you're supposed to do it. Don't do it because you feel like you have no other choice or that's the way. Instead, why not, anyone could build a business that makes $2,000 a month. I guarantee you, the internet has opened that door. If you spend 2 years trying and figuring it out and learning how to do it, at the end of 2 years, you'll have it. There's no question in my mind. So why not do that? Why not take 2 years out of your life, figure that out, get to the point where you're self-sufficient, where you can own your life back, unmortgage your life, and then make some decisions. Then decide what you want to do, and then you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter at that point, but imagine that power. So few people ever experience it. I didn't have the wisdom and insight. No one told me this when I was younger. I wish they would have. It took me till I was 33, which is still pretty good, right? And I had to do it at a higher level because my expenses were higher, right? I couldn't live off of $2,000 a month. I had a lot more stuff going on. So, but if you could do it when you're young, starting out, when you keep your expenses low, heck, you could, if you're really smart, you could probably live off of $1,000 a month. You could probably cut that down real fast. You're not gonna live extravagant, but it gives you options. You own the hours in your day, right? Instead of you being a slave and paying them to someone else. So that's it. And if you like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.